Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday. Hi, friends. Holy cow, I'm going to be totally transparent about nothing important. I typically film at like 8 or 9 in the morning, and it is currently noon because this morning I dropped Cutie Carter off at the airport at 5 a.m. So we were up at 4. It was brutal. He is going to the Waste Management Open, which is in Phoenix. If you don't know, it's a big golf tournament, but I'm sure you've heard of the Masters and maybe the US Open. Those are big tournaments, but they're like very serious and very golf-esque and very professional. And not to say that the Waste Management isn't, but the Waste Management and like obviously all of golf is a spectator sport, but like the Waste Management Open in Phoenix is like a huge spectator and like get hammered. And there's a lot of just like, you know how golf is supposed to be like really quiet and like the golf clap and whatever. The Waste Management gets a little fucking crazy. Last year, actually, they had like a security breach or like issue and tons of people. It's basically like, I'm trying to think, not like NASCAR because people still dress up and whatever, but I'm just telling you, like so many people, it's just more of a mingle social hour situation. Well, last year, I was not there, but I saw that there was like a security issue and tons of people because like people, I think pregame outside and a bunch of people like stormed in and the security didn't do anything to stop them. So they had way too many people inside. It was like so jam packed. I don't remember how they fixed the problem or they just let it go, but like insane. Okay. So I'm sure this year they've got it more locked down, but Carter's firm has a box on hole 16, which is like one of the iconic holes, and he was offered tickets through work. I mean, he had to purchase them, but it came out of his marketing budget. Basically, Carter has a marketing budget every single quarter. I think he's allotted, I'm not sure how much, but a certain amount of money to take out clients and do like marketing things and like go out and wine and dine and like that stuff, you know, lunches, what have you. So it comes out of that budget because all of these other partners are going to be there. Like it's a little bit of networking, but like not really. Let's be so fucking for real. I feel like a lot of, you know, when you think about like men and they go in golf and they have business lunches, I'm like, it's all horseshit, but it is real, but it's also kind of horseshit. Like he's just going to have fun. And actually, I don't know if I told you guys this so long ago, but Carter had a best friend from San Diego who ended up going to ASU Law. He is actually one of his very best friends and the one that he deleted social media with. So when they were together living in San Diego, going to SDSU, they both decided together to delete social. I think in 2018, I'm not sure. 2018, I believe, is the year that he says, why would I know? It doesn't matter. But like way back then, him and this friend were the ones, they deleted all of their socials at that time, and both of them have never gone back. Snapchat, Instagram, all of the things. Obviously, you guys know Cutie Carter has no socials, but that's his best friend. Well, his best friend went to ASU Law, but he went a year prior. So Carter took a year to work in between undergrad and law school. So he was back home working, doing like HVAC or whatever the fuck he was doing. And his friend went to school that year. So he graduated a year before Carter and he started working at a firm in, I'll just say Vegas. I don't know why, it probably doesn't matter. He took a job in Vegas with this smaller law firm, whatever. Well, Carter did his, 2L summer when we were together. He summered out where he is now. Well, his firm, right before Carter was actually starting his job, so after he took the bar and was signing on and whatever, like his actual job, his firm acquired his best friend's firm in Vegas, because Carter's firm is all over the US, not the globe, but the US. And they have been acquiring firms and growing and growing and growing. Well, they just out of random acquired his best friend's firm. So now they work at the same firm. Obviously, he's in Vegas. They don't have any work that overlaps. It definitely could happen, but not as of right now. But like as Carter was starting, so Oh, he didn't go to the retreat. Carter started, and like the very first week he had a retreat, which they were still merging at that time, so his best friend didn't go. But this, he talked to him and he was like, let's both get tickets. So he flew out this morning. They're going tomorrow. It was like $700, I think, which again, it was out of his marketing budget, but like, holy fuck, because it's a really nice box. But his best friend, I think Vegas to Phoenix is like, what, a 5-hour drive? That's a shot in the dark. I'm not sure, but it's not super, super far. And since he went to ASU, he has so many friends there. So he's been there all week, but Carter flew in. So he flew out of here. I think his flight left at like 6. So he was landing in Phoenix at like 7:30 their time. His best friend was picking him up, and then they're going to go work in the Phoenix office because they have a Phoenix office. So working today, and then going out tonight. One other guy from the Dallas firm, another associate, also flew in. So he's there with them. The 3 of them are going. They're all, same age. And actually, this friend from the Dallas firm, I'm making perfectly good sense. It doesn't really matter. I guess I'm just explaining all of these details that have nothing to really do with me. But his friend, the one at the Dallas firm, is the one we went to the SMU basketball game with last Thursday. So I talked about this on stories. Carter calls, and one of the partners was like, does anybody want to go to the game? And I was like, yeah, let's go check it out. You guys, it was lame as fuck. It was so lame, and I feel bad. SMU is not known for the basketball team. I don't know what class they're in or division. Like, I'm sure it's Division 1, but they're just like not really that good. I don't even think they scored 50 points at the end of the game. We left a little early to get out of the parking garage, but like, in an NBA game, they score anywhere from like 90 to 120 points. Like, it was like 40 to like 49 or something. It was just so slow. It was so bad. But this associate brought his girlfriend, and it was fine. It was like socializing, whatever. I'm glad we went. We will never go again. And obviously we didn't pay for the ticket, so it was fine. But anyway, so they are there. They're going to go out. Oh, this associate that he's with loves to gamble. So I think they're going to go to a casino tonight. His friend's really excited. Carter's like so anal. He's like, okay, I'm giving myself this much money to gamble. I'm like, oh my gosh, have fun. But he was really excited to play blackjack, which sometimes on YouTube, you guys are going to think I'm so lame. Well, I let Carter control the TV because I just don't give a shit. Every time that Carter leaves, I rarely even turn on the TV. You guys know I'm just like not a TV person. But we watch like blackjack. We also watch this guy, Vegas Matt, who plays blackjack. He does other gambling. He literally videos, they're like an hour long. Okay, he does like the slots, and we don't like watching that because it's super random. Whereas like blackjack, there's like thinking involved. You get to 21, whatever. What's the other game? Craps. I've never actually, wait, that's a lie. I've gambled once in my lifetime. My freshman year at NDSU, I got a random roommate. Have I ever talked about Bridget before? I got a random roommate that was from New York. So I remember being a senior in high school, last minute, I was like, I'm going to go to NDSU. Fuck my life. I was like so not excited about it. And this girl added me on Facebook from New York, and I deleted it because I'm like, who is this bitch? I don't know who this is. Well, whatever the online software was, it got like, there was a day where it came out who your roommate was, and like you could pick and choose or like put in requests. I think like a lot of girls in my school were going there and like wanted to be roommates. I said, fuck no. Well, it was this girl, Bridget, from New York. So I get to NDSU my freshman year. Oh my gosh, she was incredible. You guys, it was the best case scenario. She was from New York, but from a tiny, tiny town in New York. And she literally brought her horse to NDSU because she did equestrian, and she was like going into agriculture, which obviously in North Dakota is like a big thing. I'm sure it's a pretty good school for agriculture just because like that's all that North Dakota is, like farming. Wow. We didn't do anything outside of our freshman dorm, like literally nothing. We never, like, if we saw each other, we would say hello. Obviously, when we were in the room, we would chit chat, we would catch up. It was good. But like, she was so busy with this horse stuff. Like, she was gone every goddamn weekend on the equestrian team. And we would only really be in our apartment at night or our dorm. And of course, it was tiny, you guys. I lofted my bed and then had a desk underneath, and her bed, she moved it a couple times amongst, sometimes it'd be on the same wall, wall as mine, or then another time it would be on another wall. It's so crazy to think about how tiny that room is. Like, I bet that room was like maybe 400 square feet, not even. Like, you just had a skinny walkway, you had a wardrobe, and then it was like shared baths on the floor, which were actually so disgusting. And I remember our water being shut off so much because our building was the oldest, Bergam. It also had no air conditioning, which is fine in North Dakota because it's never fucking hot there. But the very first week it is, because it's August. But then after that, like, obviously you just have the heat on because it's like negative 40 fucking degrees. Also spoke to LaDonna this week. She's like so depressed, which seasonal depression is, number one, a real thing, but number two, so amplified up in North Dakota. Like, it's just gloomy. It's like negative 40. I'm like, oh my gosh. I actually spoke to Carter and I'm like, babe, which this is a little bit dark and I don't like to think about this, but Gordy's a little bit older. I don't know. It's hard to say whose health is worse, but Gordy just turned 80 and LaDonna, okay, 40 more, 51. So she's 7 years younger. So she's 73. Okay. I'm like, if Gordy were to pass at some point, and let's say we have children at that time, you know, in a couple of years, can we move LaDonna down? Like, if our house calls for it, that way she's with us and can just help with the baby and I can just be with her. And he was like, yes, of course. And I'm like, okay, good. I don't know if she would do that. I'm obviously never going to ask her because I'm not going to talk about my grandfather dying. But I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, oh my God, because she hates the cold. When I went up there after they moved, we were driving, and this was one of the times when Gordy wasn't with us, and she's like, Brenna, when Gordy brought me out to this complex and I could tell like there were hard eyes, or like he had, you know, fireworks in his eyes seeing this brand new complex, that's when I kissed my dreams of Arizona goodbye. And I'm like, first of all, I didn't even know that she wanted to move to Arizona. I'm like, you would move to Arizona? She's like, I would get the fuck out of here. Okay, she probably didn't say fuck, but she would love the heat. Like, she hates the cold. You guys, LaDonna's like 90 pounds. I imagine her bones are just like so brittle and like fragile. Well, she's just so delicate to me. Yeah, I bet it's so brutal. Like, you know, when obviously if you're skinnier and you're smaller, you're colder, you don't have as much fat on your body. Like, I bet she's just freezing her tits off all the time. Well, they're already frozen off, similar to mine, but anywho, I'm not even sure how we got here, but maybe it'll come back into my mind. So last week we went to the basketball game. That was Thursday. And then Friday, I think Carter worked from home. So it was kind of fucking weird. And it's always so hard because he's like working and I can't film, but then sometimes he comes out, I'm like, are we talking? But then he has a really hard time powering down at the end of the day because his work never ends. There's always things he could be doing. So then the night time just kind of rolls into us like eating at 6, but then he's still kind of doing stuff. Oh, I also have Carter working for me right now. So like I told you last week, I think I switched management teams, and Carter obviously looked over my contract because when you sign with these management teams, there's so many things about them representing you and signing contracts for you and, you know, how much they take and yada, yada, and whatever. And there's so many of these things. So you redline a contract. And if you don't know what this is, basically like any sort of lawyer in these sorts of instances, some of you may know this, but I didn't know this pre-Carter. So you get a contract. Right? Like, let's say it's your lease agreement, which I don't think many things on your lease agreement you can really change, but let's just use that as a example. You get your lease agreement. You then can have your attorney go in, whatever the contract is, and they redline. So basically, they literally, it's a red line. They cross out the parts that they don't want in there, the verbiage, whatever, and then they type in, and this is in blue, I believe, what the wording should be, or sometimes they just cross it out depending on what the thing is. So like if it was your lease will renew if you don't give us your notice by 30 days, like you could cross out 30 days and put 20 days. Again, I'm not knowing if you can actually do this, but like that's what your attorney does. So then your attorney sends back that contract, the red line contract with the revised. So it has like the red mark, you know, it crosses out, it has the blue, and then they go in and redline. So then they make their edits and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And this shit can go on for like your whole entire life. Like this is what Carter is doing most of his days, is like redlining contracts and like doing, well, I don't know if that's most of his days. Well, anyway, so my contract came in, and obviously there's just things that we need to, number one, to protect myself, but also to protect them. Like, contracts aren't always, it's not to like prevent you from doing something. Of course, it depends on the circumstance, you know? Or for example, like a prenup. Okay, which I don't know why I have to use a prenup, but if you wanted to write up a prenup, you know, if you're super loaded and your husband is not, that's a contract. So then you would make your contract like she gets this, that, you know, like her assets are hers, blah, blah, blah. That would go to their attorney. They would then make their edits. And then you come to, you know, you go back and forth until you come to an agreement. So everybody's like getting their, you know, edits in, and if you can't come to an agreement, you need to hop on the phone. So actually Carter's doing a little work for me today. He's going to hop on with the lawyer because we sent a red line and there were a few things that the guy was like, these are non-negotiable, and Carter's like, well, it's going to have to be negotiable or my girl's not signing. Okay, so Carter's going to work for me, so we love that. But anywho, last week, basketball game, Friday, cool. Saturday, we go and join our bank accounts. Yeah. No, honestly, just like the admin of it, I'm so glad. And I've slowly been getting like all of the things, you know, because I'm attached to our rent, obviously, and I'm the one who always pays it. But I always have to confirm with Carter because it comes out of his bank account. And I just like hate all of this bullshit. Like, not exactly. I know exactly how much he makes, where it's all going. We always talk about the rent and the student loans and the bills and everything, but I'm not seeing it. So it's like hard in my brain. So I had the appointment for 10:30 a.m. So we woke up, we went on a walk, we got a coffee, and then we came back, we got dressed, and then we went down to Wells Fargo by the Crescent, and we met with our sweet banker, Ian, who was fabulous. And basically all we had to do was like bring our, you know, IDs and proof of address. Honestly, I don't even think, because we both have accounts, we have the same address, and they just added me to Carter. So the checking and the savings. And I, like I said, have a few more payments coming in, and then I'm going to close mine, but you know, got the PIN, they're sending me a card, all of the things. So holy fuck, it's so nice. Like before Carter was leaving, I was like, do you want me to transfer money into your account? Because we paid a lot in student loans and I didn't think about him gambling. And I was like, what if you go to a nice dinner? Like, I don't want you... Carter, it's so funny. And this is why I think it's so great and why you should join finances. Well, obviously, you know, probably wait until you're married. Don't do what we're doing. But we're just talking about it in general. Like, Carter lives with his checkings and his savings at such a small amount. Actually, what Carter does is he has his direct deposit come into his savings, which I do understand why he does it. He's like, that way it all comes out of there. And then my checkings, I just keep it a little bit so I'm not spending like crazy, which if you have Wells Fargo or if you have any bank with an app, which I'm sure is like all banks at this point, you can just go in and transfer money from your savings to your checkings in 2 seconds, which Carter lives that way. So like he keeps his checking at like $300. That gives me a fucking panic attack. $300. My minimum is like $1,000. Like, not even that I have that many things coming out, but just like, what if something popped up, like a phone bill or like this or that, or just, I don't know. I don't want to, even though I do constantly check my Wells Fargo app because I'm psychotic, I don't want to have to think about it all the time. Like, I always know roughly, you know, there's 1,000, there's 800, but like I get a little tense. Like if it's under 800, I'm like, like I hate that. Whereas like Carter only has 300. So I have his bank. And what were we doing? I don't remember, but we were paying for something. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to like drop to like 2 something. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? And all of his money is in his savings. So that way, and I get it. But again, I'm like, okay, babe, like I'm going to operate at a different level. Like my stuff, because I started moving over, you know, my PayPal and my stuff with my new management, I attach now our joint account, but I'm like, it's going to come into our checking. I have all my stuff come into my checking and then I move it. Like, it's just the way I've always operated, which he can do what he does. It does not matter at all, but it's like so funny to talk about these things. But yeah, before he left, I'm like, do you want more money? He's like, nope, I'm good. I also have my credit cards, but like, I'll be fine. I don't plan on spending that much money. And he also has another separate savings or a maybe checking. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, I'm on the account. Well, after Wells Fargo, actually, while we were walking in, there's a Press Juicery in the same little mall situation, like, you know, just with multiple things, whatever you call that, where there's a bunch of storefronts. Well, there's Press Juicery next to it. So as we walked in, Carter's like, oh, let's stop over there and, you know, get something afterwards. I said, okay, sure. I used to go there every once in a while. It's so fucking expensive. So I think I did it like 2 times. But we hop in and it's like 11:30 at this point. Ian didn't get us in till later because he was with a client. So we didn't start exactly at 10:30. And just like him clicking on his goddamn computer took a long time, but it was a super easy process. But anyways, we walk over there and Carter's like, do you want to do a cleanse? Because we hadn't eaten at that point. Or he was like, did you eat anything? And I was like, I had a protein shake. And he was like, I did too. So he's like, do you want to do a cleanse? I'm like, oh my gosh, sure. He's like, let's do it. Even though I know that cleanses don't actually do shit. Carter was like, no, it's good for your body. I'm like, it's horseshit. It's not doing anything. It's not doing anything at all. Hello, exercise science major. Like, this is all bullshit, but like, let's just do it for funsies. Then he triple dog dared me. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Even though I'm going to be a fucking psycho. I'm going to be starved. Like, I already know this about myself. And I think my period is like happening now. So like, this is only not that long ago. So I'm also getting my period. I'm like, I'm going to be a raging bitch. But like, if that's what you want, he was like, let's do it. So we asked the lady, there were 3 different kinds of like daily, you know, they have pairings, or maybe it was 4, some with higher calories, some with less, but she's like, there's a most popular one, so we're like, let's just do that. And I think it was a total of 6 juices, and typically you would start earlier in the day, so you're supposed to like drink every 2 hours. Again, I'm like, what's the science behind this? It's fake. But Carter was like, we'll do every hour and a half, because we were starting at noon, and then that got us to like 7, I think, or I don't remember, maybe 7:30. Well, we do that. So we come back home. We're drinking our stupid little juices. We go to the gym. We get done. And Carter wanted to go shopping for some clothes for the waste management for this weekend, because he has really nice clothes and he has a few polos, but like the golf setting, he was like, I would really like to get like a light vest. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. He does not have a vest. So he's like, let's go to Nordstrom Rack and see. Oh, and he wanted to get a pair of shoes because he also has like business shoes or like nice dress shoes. And then his Vans, he doesn't like have an in between, like a nice looking sneaker. So he's like, I really don't want to spend that much money for some. So let's go to Nordstrom Rack. So we leave, we go to Nordstrom Rack. We take our little juicies with us, and he finds these cute little Steve Madden, like beige with brown shoes, and they were like $60, so he gets those. And then he still was looking for a vest. We didn't see anything. Their clothes are like, it's just so chaotic. All of the things, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Nordstrom Rack, even some like regular stores. It's just so overwhelming when it's like racks like that. So we didn't find anything, and we walked down. I'm like, okay, there's a Bloomingdale's, there's a Saks Fifth Avenue. So we bop into them, didn't find anything. And I'm like, oh, I think there's a J. Crew around the corner. And I'm not super familiar with J. Crew. I've never bought anything from there, but I know that it's like they have some nice stuff. So we walk around the corner, we go into J. Crew, and we found this like perfect little quilted vest for him. And it was originally $128, but it was on sale for like $70, and he'll definitely wear it again. They did not, however, have black. They only had navy in store, and like this, you know, Carhartt, or like Timberlands, you know, that color, like tan. I guess it's just fucking tan. I don't know why I had to list those items. Well, they had that color, but black they didn't have a large in. So he's like, let me just get navy. And we walk up to the thing, and I'm like, do you guys have black? And they're like, we don't, but online. And we're like, how long would it take? And they're like, 3 to 5 days. And he's leaving Thursday. Originally though, his flight was like in the afternoon. He changed it last minute, but we're like, yeah, let's just order it. If you think, let's try it. And if you don't have the vest, it'll be fine. You can wear a polo, like he'll be fine. Okay, so we don't get the blue one. We just ordered the black one online. So we get the receipt, we leave, and Carter's like, what do you think about going to Barnes & Noble? I said, yes! We go to Barnes & Noble because I was still in a fucking slump, you guys. This whole Nightingale, I'm so mad. Like, it literally is the best book I think I've read so far. However, I just cannot read. I don't know if it's my iPad. Like, I do feel like I like books way better when it's a physical book, and I stand behind that. And I will still use Libby and still use my Kindle or my iPad, because I don't want to purchase books and like be wasteful, but there is something about a book. So we walk in, and Carter had his eye on a few, or was thinking about getting some prior to going in there. Well, we go in, I have to pee because I'm on like my goddamn third juice. I'm also getting hungry. I'm like, oh my God, I hate this already. I'm like, we're going to eat. And he's like, no, we're not. And I'm like, we're gonna eat, or I'm going to chop your little head off. But we go into Barnes and Noble. He immediately like has 3 books. I go to the bathroom. I come back out. He has 3 books in his hand. I'm like, oh, you're getting 3? They always have those little tables where you get buy one, half off. Buy one, get one half off. I'm like, can I get 2? And he's like, babe, of course. Like, what do you mean? Because he's buying, obviously. I'm like, perfect. Immediately, I see Riley Sager, the one I left behind. Oh, the only one left. The only one left. I'm looking at it right here on my nightstand. I grabbed that because LaDonna said it was phenomenal. And you guys, I think Riley Sager is becoming one of my new favorite authors. I've loved every book so far. And this one, I'm almost done. I was reading this morning. But anyways, I grabbed that, and then I pick up Lisa Unger, the couple in 5B, the new couple in 5B, something like that. Apartment 5B. I don't fucking know, but I'm going to try that after this one. But you guys, the one I left behind by Riley Sager, obsessed. Basically, there's this like little town where these people live, and there's this woman who in 1929 murdered her whole family, or like that's the theory, but she was never put to jail because they never found the murder weapon, and like she never said that she did it, and there was no way to prove that she did it. And they lived in this mansion on the cliffs. Like, they were a super well-to-do family, but she was a little girl at the time. Not a little girl, hello, she was like 17 at the time. Killed her parents and her sister. Okay. And this is like town lore. Like, there's like when you're a kid and you talk about like Bloody Mary, it's like the town story. Like, what's her name? Little Miss Lenora Hope hung her sister with the rope. Like, they say something like that. Anyways, there's also another character that you're following who is a caregiver, and she is assigned to be this woman. So it's like 50 years later now, 54 years later. So it's like 1970 or 80 something. This woman is paralyzed. She can literally only use her left hand. She can't speak. So like, she still, to this day, nobody knows, but this woman is like so scared to be her caregiver because she knows the whole behind the scenes. But she has a typewriter, so Lenora's been typing the story, and like they have a housekeeper and like a chef because she still lives in this mansion. Like, she's never left. So there's all of these things that we're uncovering, and there's a groundskeeper. You guys, it's so good. It's so good. I only have, I think, like 30 pages left. Obsessed. But I'm so excited for the ending. There's already been so many twists. I'm like, oh my fucking God. But anyways, we left Barnes and Noble, and then that evening we just read, and I'm starving, and I'm like literally acting like a child. I'm like, babe, I'm so hungry. Let me eat. And he's like, no, we got to be strong. And then it's like probably 5 o'clock, and he's like, okay, do you think we get like pizza or the taco stand at 7? And I'm like, yes. So we finish at 7, and immediately Carter's on Uber Eats, and we get the taco stand. So we got burritos. And then Sunday, you guys, was a lazy day. I think we went on a few walks because it was really nice out. And then my best friend Garrett performed at the House of Blues, and it was so great to see all of his family. He has quite literally like the best support system ever. His parents and like his family and family friends, like everybody that's around them, like loves them so dearly. So we pull up. He was starting at 8, so I think we pulled up at 7:30. And as we're walking around the corner, I see the whole entire family. So there's Garrett. He brought his girlfriend from Nashville, who I haven't even met, which I got to say hello to her and give her a hug. But then, so we pulled up, we parked. We're walking around the block because there wasn't like parking right by there, and the whole family. So it's Garrett, her, and then his parents, and then his sister and his sister's husband. They were taking photos in front of the sign because obviously there was like a sign with his name on it, and Dallas being like where they're from and yada yada whatever. And I'm like, hey, and Garrett's like, I didn't know you were coming, which I definitely thought I told him, but maybe not. And we got to say hello, and Carter hadn't met his dad or his sister and husband, and obviously Garrett's girlfriend, because I haven't even met her either yet. So we just said hello, and then they're like, okay, we got to go backstage. So we said hello, and then we walk in, and then we see Nodi, and then we see this person, and then we see that person. I'm like, meet Carter, meet Carter, meet Carter. And we get inside, and it's like in this like super intimate, nice room, and Garrett opened, and it was so much fun. It was great. And then we left after because it was Sunday night, and Carter obviously has to go to work on Monday. But it was actually, he, I think, started a little bit earlier. So it got done at like 8:15, 8:30, and literally like 5 minutes, not even from our house. So we were home in no time. We read, we went to bed. And then this week, you guys, these events. Okay, I have so much tea to share with you guys. Which maybe I shouldn't. Whatever, I'm gonna share. Okay, so Monday, I don't think was very eventful. Tuesday was when I had the events, the Neom event and the Amazon affiliate event. And here's the thing, you guys, when you get invited to events, which I haven't been to that many, you know, I get invited to like some, I haven't gone to all, but I've gone to some, you know, I've gone to the Steve Madden one, the Tiff's Treats, like whatever. However, the Neom Wellbeing is a brand that's from the UK. They've been around for 20 years. They do like the sleep sprays, like for the pillows, and magnesium, and candles with essential oils. And like, that's the brand. It's like a wellness brand. And apparently they're very well known in the UK, but it's new to us. And it's now joining Ulta. Okay, so that's what this launch was about. Well, that was from 5 to 8. And that I could understand from the invitation was like a come and go, which is how most of them are for the most part. Well, the Amazon was a dinner, and that should have told me that it was going to be, I didn't know how like legitimate it was going to be. Like, they're all legitimate events, but like this Amazon event was like, oh my gosh. Okay, we'll get into that. Let me back this the fuck up. Tuesday during the day. Okay, I've been going back and forth with Jillian from Girls or from 10 p.m. Curfew, which are these like meme accounts. I'm sure you've seen them. If you just, it's literally girls. They have like 7 million followers. They just repost some of my videos, like a bunch of just like viral, relatable female things. They own the account Females. They own Hollywood Live. They own a few other like huge millions of followings Instagram pages and TikToks. Okay, well, recently they got a new like head of growth, or maybe he's the CEO. He was at Barstool before. He's kind of trying to like create a Barstool, which you can't really do Barstool, but like he wants to, because I've had meetings with them and they're still working out very much the kinks. But anyways, Jillian is their one like full-time employee who runs the girls account and the females, and they started her up with a podcast. So like she is the head of it or the face of it, but like she's just fully employed by 10 p.m. Curfew and just does like obviously whatever they say to do these accounts. Well, we've been going back and forth about getting me on their podcast. And so finally we nailed down Tuesday, because we've been going back and forth and I felt so bad. So she said, are you available? She's in LA. So it was 11 a.m. her time, and it was virtual, obviously. And I just said yes, not thinking that it was going to be like so long, just my entire day. So we podcasted from 1 to 3, just like nonstop chit-chatting about all things dating. You know, obviously like that's what their page, well, it's kind of like, it's a lot, it's a mix, but their thing is it's mainly a female audience because they own girls, they own females. Like that's kind of what their thing is. So it was just like, yeah, chit-chatting, whatever. It was amazing. It was great. Loved it. Well, I get done at 3, and my best friend Natalie has been meaning to call me because she had some like work gossip for me. And so we FaceTime as I'm getting ready, because thankfully both of the events, they were sending Uber codes, but I decided that the Neom event, it was at this like house with a pool. Like you guys saw the one photo that I posted. It was actually insane. But I didn't want to wear like my cocktail dress and my heels. So I was like, okay, I'll Uber from here at 4:40. I'll get there right at 5. Okay, which is also great because then I get to talk to like the founder and like important people. Like that's what I like about these events. I'm not here to mix and mingle like really with the influencers. Like that to me, I don't really care about. However, I love talking to like the people that work for Amazon and for Neom. So I was FaceTiming Natalie, getting ready. I put on my jeans and my cardigan and I Uber and I get there right at 5. And I walk in like one of the first girls and I walk around, take some photos. I grabbed like a candle and a body cleanser. I met the founder. I met the CFO. I met the head of marketing. They're all from the UK, so they all have accents and they were all darling, like just the best. And it was so nice and fun. Well, I had to leave, obviously. So cocktail hour for Amazon started at 6 and then dinner was at 7. So I know I had a little bit of room there. So I Ubered back at like 5:45. I got home at 6. I assumed Carter was going to be home, but he wasn't. I literally get inside. I take May out. I get back in. I lock the door. And then all of a sudden I hear Carter's little beep, like fobbing in. I'm like, oh my gosh, he just was getting home. But I'm like running around, putting my sticky boobs on, putting on my dress. Like that's why I didn't take any videos or photos for you guys, because I was literally running like a chicken with my head cut off and put on my dress. And then Carter's like, I can drive you. And I was like, no, I have these Uber codes, like totally good. Just you relax, have your nice little night. Well, I get my Uber and this place, the Le Passage, was like not even 5 minutes. Like we walk there where we get our coffee is on our walk. It's on the Katy Trail. It's brand new, this cafe, or like a few months old at this point. And then across from the cafe is the restaurant. So it's like a 5-minute drive. So I literally pull up in my Uber. I hop out the fucking Uber. I have my 2-strap black heels from Steve Madden. The one at the top of my foot, not the one on my toes, the other one on my right foot snaps. As I hop out of the Uber, literally breaks. I'm like, oh my fucking God. And I had seen a guest list for this thing, and not that I was nervous, but I'm like, oh fuck. Like these are like the influencer bitches. Okay, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't any names that I recognize. Like these are like the Dallas influencer girls. I was like already, walking into this, I'm like, here goes nothing. Well, it breaks. I hop out the Uber. There's a few steps, a little bit of a walkway to get there. And so I'm hobbling. I don't want to take my shoes off outside yet, but I'm like, I can't hobble around in there, which I don't give a shit. I'm like, this is so on brand. I don't care. But like, are they going to be upset that I have no shoes? You know what I'm saying? So I hobble over to the front door and there's like this entrance, not like into the building, like this little box outside of the front door that's like a covering situation. So I walked in there, I took off my heels, I walk inside, and I've never been in this place, so I don't know what to expect. And I walk in, and I think I completely missed a photo op to the left, which honestly I don't give a shit about, and thank God, because I hate posing and doing, like, I'm just not an influencer. I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm not that kind of content creator. Well, I'm so like, oh my God, I have to tell these people that I don't have my shoes, because I know I have to check in, because there's like only, I think maybe 40 of us, maybe less. And so there's a desk to my right and I'm holding my heels and I'm like, my heel literally just broke. I'm like, do you care if I'm barefoot in here? And I'm like, I realized at the time, like as I walk in, that it's like a plush carpet. And they're like, oh my gosh, no, but like, do you want shoes? And I'm like, would you guys even have shoes? And she's like, yeah, we have, I think so. She's like, what size? There was like 2 girls, I think, there. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. I'm like an 8, but like whatever, 7.5, whatever. She's like, do you want me to throw your heels away? And I'm like, yes, fuck these things. Like it was just like broke in the middle. I'm like, take them, throw them away. I don't ever want to see them again. Well, the girl comes back. She's got these red boots, which I showed you on my Instagram story, and these cute little heart socks. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it actually went well with the outfit. I don't care if she would have given me like the ugliest sneakers of all time. I would wear anything. I don't give a shit about my actual outfit, but it actually did look cute. I'm like, thank you guys so much. So I pop on a little chair. I put on my socks. I'm already like vibing with the girls that are like working there. That's the thing. Like I always really, really enjoy the people that like work or like the marketing. Oh, I also wanted to explain this. Similar to the Neom event, like these brands, they, plan, well, really, do they even plan the events? They want to have a thing. Like they, Amazon wanted to do like a Valentine's Day thing. They're doing a few different cities. They hire out, like had hired Infinity Creative, which is a marketing PR agency, whatever. Infinity Creative then invites people. Like, I'm not entirely sure, but I imagine Amazon might already have people that they want to invite and they tell that to them. But like, they then send out the invites. They find the florists, they find the photographers. Like, the marketing team is the one who puts on the event. So like, the girls that were there were a few Amazon reps, but there are the girls that work for the marketing team, and that's who reaches out to you. Like, it's not Amazon that sometimes, obviously it's very different, but like similar to when I got invited to that Celsius event last year for the Coachella, like it's like a PR agency that's reaching out to you. So it's these girls, and they were phenomenal. I loved them. They're all like young and cute and fun, and you know, they're there to like mingle and make sure, you know, check everybody in, make sure everything's going well, yada yada, so forth. Similar to Neom, it wasn't Neom themselves that reached out, it was a marketing team that like then hires people and puts on the event, you know, because also, especially for Neom, they're in the UK. Like, yes, they were there the days leading up to do any fixed and final touches, but like they have the marketing PR agency that like does that. Anyways, adored them. I walk in and I didn't see anybody I recognized, but of course I'm just going up. I'm like saying hello. I grabbed a little mocktail, and that was that. I meet some cute, fun, and fresh girls. We're sitting there, we're chatting, you know, it can get a little awkward. It's fine. Like, there are a lot of girls that know each other. So it's like, hi, you know, like the whole thing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, finally it's time for dinner at like 7:30. So like, really it was an hour of mixing and mingling, which there was a girl who I knew lives in my building. She's 24. She's obviously like an influencer, lives in my same building on my floor. So we were chit-chatting, and she's also going to go to SMU Law, potentially. She literally takes the LSAT today, Friday. Okay, so I really should message her. I don't think we ended up, there was no service. So like, everybody's like, let's follow each other. And we were trying to, which I actually really enjoyed this girl. Sometimes I'm like, oh God, you know, well, okay, let me break it down. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. Basically, we go in and it was gorgeous, you guys. Like, the flowers and the setup and the new restaurant, like it was insane. It was like so fucking influencer, like it was so sick. Anyways, we walk out, and the table where we're gonna sit is on the outside, but it has like one of those tarp covering things, you know, so it's still like, which it would have been fine if the thing was open because it was a beautiful night. But we walk out there and you go around and look for your name at the table, and I sit down, and where I am, I'm not going to like name any names or what. And I don't know any of these girls. Like, oh, this was like, oh my gosh. And I guess I just, number one, I don't know these people, but even if it was the biggest celebrity ever, I'm never like shell shocked because I think I just have like a really good grasp that these are people. Well, one girl, when we were at the cocktail thing, was like tweaking that this one girl was there. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've like been a fan of hers for forever. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, who is that? I don't know. And she's like, oh my gosh, that's Raven from The Bachelor. I've never watched The Bachelor. I don't know. Anyways, there's this bitch Raven from The Bachelor. Not bitch. I mean that endearingly. She's like, not across, not the next, but like one over. And she came, sat down, because like everybody slowly, I was like the first one to go sit down because I was like so over cocktail hour. I'm like, let's get this fucking thing rolling. I'm hungry, whatever. Say hello. She's so kind. She's so cute. Whatever. She's like a little bit farther, so I didn't end up talking to her anymore. Well, then this girl sits next to me, one girl on my left, one girl on my right, one across, whatever. It's like just this long table. And then the girl that lives in my building was actually on the other side of the one to my left. I would say their names, but I don't want to because I'm going to give you some tea and I don't want there to be any like, I'm just going to talk numbers with you guys because it's fucking crazy. Well, here's the thing. Okay, so like, and Dallas specifically has such a big culture of like OG bloggers, like the original, like pose and take the photo and like the super curated and perfect Instagram feeds, like from 2017. Like there are a ton of those kinds of women like at this table, besides the girl that lives in my same building who's 24 years old. every single woman around me had multiple children. Not even one, multiple. The least was two. So like the girl next to me had two. This girl, oh, she just had one, but she's like 32 years old. The one over here had two. This one had three. That one had two. They're all like a little bit, some of them are probably my age, but like moms. And you just know like those kinds of women online are doing like mommy content or just like the aesthetic. And this is an Amazon event. And I'm literally so confused why I was invited, because these are like the top producers on Amazon, and we'll talk about that. Like literally the top, and like that's who they're inviting. I'm not really fucking sure why I was invited, because you guys know I have a storefront, but like I can literally tell you with my full chest that I make less than $50 a month on Amazon, because I'm not a linker, I'm not a buyer. I don't even buy things really on Amazon, which that might change after learning how much these fucking girls are making. I'm literally not kidding. So if you don't like the inauthenticity, if I start just shilling out the Amazon links, I literally had this full blown like to Carter like panic. I'm like, did I go into the wrong thing? Should I've just been an Amazon bitch from the get-go? Because you guys, it was insane. So they did a little introduction and then we just ate. There was like a salad and yada yada. But the things I wanted to tell you were, number one, this woman by me. Okay, so let's talk about deliverables. As a content creator, you have a rate for a TikTok. You have a rate for a reel. You have a rate for a just static IG post, like a photo. You have a rate for what's called a story set. And a story set is an Instagram story. Okay. And it can be anywhere from 1 to like typically 5. Honestly, in most, like a story set would be 3 to 5 Instagram stories, and you have a rate for that. I have a rate for that. Everybody does. And as you could probably guess, an Instagram story is only up for 25 hours. You know, you are able to like link and click, and that's why brands do it, because that's where you're getting the link clicks and they can do all of this data on it. But like when you think about charging, the thing that costs the least is a story set, because it's only up for a little bit. Like when you think about a static image or like a reel, number one, those are typically way more work to make. Like an Instagram reel that's like 30 to 60 seconds is typically, not always, because I did 3 stories for Burt's Bees, and like that was, you know, just as much work as a reel, but it's still like that's less cost, or like you charge less because it's only up for 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like obviously in the hierarchy of things, you're going to charge more for a reel that's like on your page. It's a video, like whatever. You guys get it. This woman who literally doesn't even have like 1 million followers, which hello, any amount of number. Just let me continue this sentence. I just want to give you like a rough, you know, ballpark number to like, you know, just give you an idea of how much money these people are making. And this has nothing to do with Amazon just yet. There was a girl by me. Okay. She does like mom content, whatever. Does not even have 1 million followers on Instagram, but has more than 500,000. That's what I'll say. Okay. Not up to 1 million, but more than 500,000. She is charging. Okay, wait, let's take a pause. For 3 Instagram stories, what do you think she charges? I'll let you sit there and think and guess. And I wish I could give you an approximate, and everybody's different. And there was a lot of conversation. Okay, the 2 by me were across the table going back and forth. They were really good friends. And there is, you know, when a brand reaches out, they want to know how many story views you get, because that obviously has to be factored in. Like if your average story views is 20,000 people, you know, like they take that into account to do a range. And this woman in particular only does a few stories a day. So her amount of people that are seeing it are way higher, because when you think about somebody who posts, like there's pros and cons to each. Like somebody who gets on and just shows their day-to-day and talks and links and da-da-da. Like this one woman, for example, she gets on all the time. She's like, I do like 20 to 30 stories a day. I'm just updating them, which I think creates a better like connection with your followers when you're more chatty and whatever. But like you're getting less views because people click through them, or maybe they're muting you because they don't want to see all of that, like that. Well, this girl is like only posting a few a day. So she gets a lot. She already has a lot of followers, but then gets a lot of views. What do you think she charges for 3 Instagram stories? Okay, brace yourselves. Have your number. $22,000. Not $2,200. $22,000 for 3 Instagram stories. Is that not even 1 million followers? Is that not the most fucking disgusting thing you've ever heard? Isn't it crazy? Okay, which is, hello, why? If you've ever thought about posting the content, and if you ever look and you're like, how can these people afford these things? That's how. Like, I don't think you really understand. And so there was another woman at this table, and they're both like similar, vibe and whatever. She was asking, she's like, how much do you make on Amazon? Like, what's your percentage? She's like, do you think you make 50% on Amazon and 50% via collabs? And here, let me also tell you, if she is charging $22,000 for 3 Instagram stories, a reel, you guys, I would probably guess minimum $40,000 for 1 reel, because it's a significantly more higher amount than 3 fucking stories. Okay. And this woman said her case, she said she probably makes 75% on collabs, 25% on Amazon. But let me just put that into perspective, and just from links, just from her storefront, like percentage wise. But if this girl is doing, let's say, 1 reel and 1 set of Instagram stories, which she's definitely not, she's doing way fucking more than that. But let's just say, okay, that if I'm roughly calculating, knowing it's 22,000, let's say, she's charging 40,000 for a reel, that's $62,000. Just let's say she's doing that in 1 month, just on 2 of those collabs, which I know she's doing more than that, just because only 1 reel and 1 Instagram story at her level, she's not doing that. She's doing way more. But let's just say, I think she said it's like 75%, 25% split. So that means she would be making like $30,000 just from the Amazon linking affiliate. Okay. 30,000. Oh, whoa. 20,000. But still, just from linking, that would be $80,000 a month in total, which again, I'm telling you, it's more. Is that not the craziest fucking thing you've ever heard? Then the other girl who has a little bit less followers, and I'm just saying that it doesn't matter, but I'm just saying, because obviously how many eyes you have on you depends or determines your cost or how much you charge. This girl said that she would say her split versus like sponsored posts to Amazon is 60% Amazon to 40% sponsored collabs. And you guys, she charges $10,000 for 3 stories, which I would, again, it all depends. I would say that's 20,000. Then for a reel, let's also do the same math. If she is doing just 1 of each a month, which again, they do more than that, I'm just using this for simple math terms, that's $30,000. She makes more than that from just linking Amazon products on her storefront and people buying. She makes then $40,000 a month on Amazon links. That's how much money she is making via Amazon and just having a storefront and linking shit in her bio and also on her stories. I said, what the fuck? Because they were talking about their stories. And the one was like, I post like 4 stories a day. And then this one, the one that makes more on Amazon, she's like, I link a ton of things a day. Like I'm talking and then I'm linking and then I'm talking and then I'm linking this. And she's, the one is making more on the sponsored because she does less stories. But then this other one was like, well, I'm scared if I do less stories, that's going to, my commission on Amazon is going to be less because people are buying more because I'm linking more. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. It was crazy. It was literally crazy. I'm like, you're making that much. But here's the thing. And I was explaining to Carter, I'm like, it's an MLM. Like these people like eat, shit, breathe. They essentially work for Amazon. Like, and it's so ironic because I went home, obviously, and not the girls by me, but other girls at the thing. I was like looking at all of their accounts and I'm like, some of them are just like Amazon accounts. It's like they just link, they live in these huge fucking houses and do the Highland Park life stuff. It's just so funny that because they make so much doing Amazon, they live these super lavish lives, but like they're shilling out Amazon links. Like And it doesn't fucking matter. And I will say that my friend Garrett, his mom, they're billionaires, and she loves a good Amazon. Like, she's not a big like luxury. She has a few luxury items that she loves, like her heels. She likes her Givenchy heels, like that's her staple heel. But like oftentimes I'll be like, Tammy, I love this dress, and she's like, Amazon. You know what I'm saying? So not to knock it. However, the nanny family, for example, like they have wealth, but nanny mom would never fucking wear something from Amazon. You know what I mean? Like there is like different levels. So it is kind of funny to see like these girls have like these insane houses in Highland Park and whatever, and they're just chilling out. But like that's why they make so much money, is because they shill out these Amazon links. And I came home and like that's so not me, and you guys know it. And yeah, maybe I'll link a few more things here and there. Like I get it, and it's an avenue to make money. And I hope you guys also understand. And this is another thing. I saw a TikTok the other day about a woman talking about how there are content based or like product based creators, and there are what she was calling like authenticity creators, and like I would fall under the category of authenticity creators. And she's like, a lot of you have favorite TikTokers or Instagram people that you love, but they do ads and you think it's gimmicky because it doesn't really fit their thing. But it's like, and that's how I feel oftentimes. Like my Burt's Bees ad was like so cheesy, and like I've done a few ads where like it doesn't feel authentic, even though I use Burt's Bees, even though I do enjoy the products. But it's like, that's how I have to make money, because I'm not like a content person or a product person. Like I have to do that to be able to make content. And I know that you guys get that, but it does, like, it sucks because there are these women, which, not to saying what they're doing is not valid, and it's a business and that's what it is, and they're doing sales and they're fucking good at it. Again, I'm not shitting on these women at all. It's amazing. Like, it's crazy how much money they're making. And I told my best friend Natalie, I'm like, bitch, just make, there was one woman at the table who literally has an Instagram account with like 500,000 followers. She doesn't even show her face. It's just like those constant product videos and like the thing from Amazon, my new favorite, and like literally just makes product videos that go viral because they're super aesthetic. And don't get me wrong, like she's putting in that work, doesn't even show her face. I bet she's making so much fucking money. So much. Have you ever seen the Sniper twins, or like the Snipe twins? I don't know where they're from. They're these blonde girls, and it's only ever one. I'm not sure which, like if it's always the same one I'm seeing, but like that's what their thing is called. And they just do Amazon clothes, and it's always like this versus that. It's like the Lulu versus this. And like, I bet they're making so much money. These girls aren't doing sponsored ads. Like their whole accounts are Amazon because they're making so much fucking money doing it. And I texted my best friend Natalie, I said, just start making these videos like these bitches. Like you don't even have to show your face, and like nobody has to know who you are. Just start like making these aesthetic, like I'm about to do it. It's crazy, you guys. It's crazy. But anyways, again, I'm not knocking what they're doing. Like they know what the fuck they're doing. And I could tell they were like, how does this bitch make money? Because they were asking me, they're like, do you link? And I'm like, no. Like they thought I was so fucking stupid. We're like, I'm a personality. Like I'm just a different type of creator. But it's just really insane. It's so crazy. But anyways, like what I was saying is like, yeah, I'm doing these ads and it might not feel super genuine and whatever, but like that's what I have to do to make the content that I do, to like entertain and be funny and help girls through breakups. So it is like this hard thing. I was talking to Carter. I was like, should I not have like done my niche, which I love what I do. I love making videos, but it is way harder to make money because I'm not a product person. But anyways, I had this like whole crisis because obviously like I started social media wanting to help people. Like I could not love the videos I make more. I love them so much, but obviously I thought about it with making money in mind, and I've been super transparent with you guys. And like for the almost 2.5 years I've been doing this now, like I have not made that much money. Like I'm telling you about all of this fucking money because I'm just not in that thing. And even still, like, yeah, the ads. So I just appreciate, I guess what I'm saying to you guys, this might be so annoying to hear about, but I appreciate any love on the ads. And I do apologize if they feel, just weird, which again, it's just like I've been having all of these calls with these management teams, and I talk about, they're like, what brands would you want to work with? And of course there are brands that I use. Like I love Lulu, I love Sephora, I love those things. But like, still, like, even those things just don't fit into my content because I just make like dating, relationship, and relatable things. So anything I do is going to kind of feel weird. And I just like, I hate that, but it is part of the game. So really the ads I've done are just like, yeah, things that I do enjoy, but also just to like stay afloat because like, hello, I also can't just keep doing this. But when I saw these girls, which it doesn't make me actually want to switch because I just don't make that content, and it doesn't like, that like things and consumerism doesn't like really do it for me. But I will not lie, like if you see me shilling out a few little things here and there, I'm just trying to make another buck. And again, like if you already have felt that way, which I do like to just like link the things that I'm using, the outfits, like obviously you guys know that, but I am trying to make a little bit of money along the way because like you guys would laugh at like the amount of money I've made in totality. You guys would be alarmed. I'm not going to tell you, but like no money, because again, that's just like not my thing. I'm not a products person, but anyways, that's fucking insane. However, speaking of money, you guys, Carter came home the other day and this guy that he knows has been like dating this girl, whatever. They're going to get married. I think they've been together for like a really long time, but Carter told me that she is demanding, which I love that she knows what she wants. Well, she comes from a lot of money. Okay, and that's the problem. She will not accept a ring or an engagement if it is not a natural diamond that is minimum $25,000. Let me say that again. She is demanding a $25,000 natural diamond. Here is the thing. You can have a preference, you can have whatever, but that is fucking crazy. The cost, like, I just like am scared for the man because I think, why no, she was raised like super wealthy. And I'm like, you are signing up to then have to continue to keep up with this, that, and the other. There is actually, did I tell you guys, which maybe I shouldn't be airing this out, but basically where Carter works, he's a doctor. Some of the other doctors, because they profit share, because they own the business, stole some money. And like a hefty amount of money. Very bad. And like I've told you guys before, Carter's dad is like the most honest, morally correct person ever. So honestly, he doesn't give a shit about the money. It's just like the fact that these are like his closest people. Like he's been in practice with them for forever. The fact that they did it, just like it changes his perception of them, which I totally get. Like that's what he's heard about. It's so funny. He's like, the money, which is a lot of fucking money, is like not the thing. It's just like it's awkward now in the office and whatever. But basically he figured it out. They're working a way to get that money back. But one of these doctors, like the ongoing joke is that he's always like, well, Bethany is like always spending my money. Like Bethany, I need to make more because Bethany, like his wife. Okay. And it's not a joke. Like, it's not like ha ha he, like literally she just spends all of their money. And I'm like, that's what this situation is. This girl that's like demanding the ring, like she's going to constantly, like it's ha ha he. I'm just like, I cannot understand that. Like if I went to Carter and like demanded a certain, and like, that just to me is bad vibes. And I would be, if I were a man, well, what I would do if I were a man is get a lab ring and never let her know and save myself money. Like that is actually what I would do. Anywho, let's keep it moving. I'm trying to think what else I had to talk to you about. Oh, Carter came home from his hometown. And you guys, I bought at Costco these, did I talk about this last week? I didn't tell this story, but the Harvest Snap Peas, I mentioned them, or like green beans on my Instagram story. There's like these little light, airy snacks. I love a salty snack. Like I'm a salty snack girl. They're like those veggie straws, like similar to that, but they're just, they're so good. Well, basically, when Carter leaves, like I just don't cook and so I'm like picking at things. I'm not really eating full meals. So he gets back home and he was like, babe, not him, me. I'm like, you will not believe, because this Costco bag of this thing was like huge. You guys, it was like a family size and then some. I ate the entire bag. Like I could not stop just like putting them in a bowl and eating them. So there was a few left and Carter was sitting on the couch. He had just gotten back and I'm like, babe, I picked these up at Costco. I literally ate this. Like he left on a Thursday. I think I got them on a Thursday and it was like Sunday. I'm like, I ate this whole bag while you were gone. And he looks at me and he's like, no, fucking way. And I'm like, wait, what happened? And he's like, you will never guess who was shoving those down my throat when I was home. And he goes, my mom. Susie, he's like, my mom would not shut the fuck up about those. He was like, the first day I got there, it was like 7 a.m. and she was trying to get me to eat them. And I'm like, Mom, it's 7 a.m. And I'm like, no, they're so good. So she called her when we talked to her the next day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Susie, you will not believe. So I told it in the way that it happened. I was like, Carter got home, he was sitting on the couch, and I was like, I had bought these things at Costco, these Harvest Snaps, and they're so good. And she was dying. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, I can't buy them because I eat them all. I'm like, same, I'm never buying them again because I could not stop. But it was so funny. Carter was like, he literally like slapped his head. He was like, oh my gosh, I'm like having deja vu because my mother would not stop. And I love that. Pretty much sums up me and Carter's mom. Like, we kind of are the same person, and I love that so much. What else happened? Oh, I've been dying to talk about this. One morning I dropped Carter off because you guys know when I want to take his car or I need to take his car, I drop him and then I have it. You guys, he works downtown. Okay, and I left. So like it's an underground garage. So we pull up, I go down, I drop him on the first level, and then I come up and I'm on a main road. I think it is Ross. And here is the thing. I'm just like gonna vent to you about drivers. So it's a 2-lane situation and I'm turning left. So I'm in the left-hand lane. It's not a turning lane. Okay, so the lane can go straight, but it's just like the left side lane and then there's one on the right. I am behind a car. Okay, and there is not a green arrow. Are you hearing me? Not a green arrow. So this car in front of me, I'm behind it. They are also turning left. Okay, so I pull up, we're at a red. It is like 8 a.m. on a weekday, so it's super busy. I mean, we're downtown, so tons of cars. It's also maybe a 3-lane on their side. No, probably 2 coming at us. But you know that when the light turns green and you're turning left and you don't have an arrow, you inch forward. That way, when the light starts to turn yellow and red, when they stop coming your direction, you turn. Even though it's red, you inch your way forward. That way you can turn. Right. Am I right or am I right? Okay, I'm behind this car. We're at red. It turns green. I'm waiting for them to just inch forward a little bit. You know, it's busy, like it's pretty compact streets, but like it's 8 a.m. So like cars are coming, whatever. They do not move. Okay. The green light goes. Cars. They cannot turn. Turns yellow, turns red. They do not turn. Out the light, I'm behind them. We sit at the red. The light turns green. I'm like, surely they will inch up this time. They do not. Green. We're sitting there. They aren't inching. Yellow, red. We're still stopped. They did not turn. I said, okay. Surely they will know. Inch forward. I get it's a busy street and like these cars are constantly coming. I understand that. However, okay, once it turns yellow and once it turns red, even there's a split second you might be turning on red. You fucking turn. The cars that are coming the other direction, they will wait. They see you. The light turns green. She does not inch forward. I'm like, oh my fucking God. Green. Yellow, red. Does not turn 3 full greens in the same spot. She keeps looking at her rear view and I'm like not doing anything because I'm literally inside fuming. Okay, but I'm not gonna whatever, but I gotta turn left. Okay, the next light turns green. She goes right. She goes straight essentially. The light turns green because like I said, this is just like a regular lane. She goes straight to leave because she does not have the fucking balls to just inch forward. She leaves. I pull forward. I'm like in the intersection. Obviously, that way when it starts turning yellow, I can turn. And guess what? I inched so far forward, the person behind me could also go. Oh my God. That shit made me go insane. 3 full lights. I sat at like 4 fucking red lights, the same red light. And I watched her drive forward because obviously the green was going. And then she turned left somewhere up there because it was like less busy, or maybe it had a turning lane or it had an arrow. I'm like, oh my God. So I just wanted to get that off of my chest. Lastly, you guys, I wanted to talk about 2 things and then we'll get out of here. Number 1, last night we watched The Menu on Netflix. Now, if you aren't into like dark and like a little bit of gore, don't watch it. However, if you do like a little bit of dark stuff, I don't want to like spoil anything for you. This was the most interesting thing I've ever watched in my life. Okay, so it's called The Menu. It's like, let me just paint the scene for you. Apparently they're on an island, or like there's this restaurant on an island, and the guy, he's like the chef, and it's like a ton of money to go out there. It's super exclusive. So there's only like 10 people that can go at a time. You literally meet at this port. They get on a boat. They take you to the island. You see where they grow all of the food. And then there's like this huge room of chefs. And then there's like the head chef. And there's a room where like the 5 tables are, because there's only like 10 people. And it kind of like pokes a joke. Like it just was like so thought provoking, because have you guys ever watched on YouTube like people going to super like 5 Michelin star? Is that even a thing? Are there such things as 5 Michelin star? I'm not sure. Maybe 3 is the most. The top like exclusive luxury restaurants where it's like a dot of this, and like it's just the craziest fucking thing, like stuff that doesn't even look like food, or it's just like the plating of it, like the experience. They bring out this, appetizer, and then it's this and this and this, which I'm really fascinated by. Like in my lifetime, I would love to go to some like really expensive, cool eating situations. However, it was like that. So it was like this immersive experience, but it gets like really dark really quickly. And it was just like one of the most odd things I've ever watched, but it was like one of those things at the end of it, I was like, oh my gosh, like thinking about it for a while. I'm like, what the fuck did I just watch? It was only like an hour and 40 minutes. So if you haven't watched that, I recommend it. You might hate it because it's weird. Oh, and the thing is, the characters, like there are these 2 that you're following primarily. Well, you kind of get to know them all. But this guy is so insufferable. Like, it's one of those things where the characters, you're like, oh, I hate him. And you're seeing like the chef, and it just was so interesting. Like the cinematography, like I really loved it. I really kind of loved it, to be honest. I think watch it and let me know what you think. And then lastly, you guys, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to clear the air because I didn't know this. Do you remember when we were kids and like, you heard about the woman who sued McDonald's for getting burned by their coffee because it was hot? Like, I remember being a kid and like that being like, oh my gosh, yeah, some woman sued and won like millions of dollars because her coffee was hot. And it was like, ha ha, hee hee. Me and Carter, I don't know how that got brought up, but he was like, no, do you know actually what happened? And I was like, no. And he's like, it's actually so sad because it became this like joke about how this woman just like sued because her coffee was hot. No, what happened was it literally gave her 3rd-degree burns on her literal vagina and legs. Like she was in the hospital and had to have skin grafts. It was like so fucking hot. And I just wanted to like I try and spread knowledge every once in a while I can, because I don't know. I feel like I learn new things all of the time, and maybe you don't know, and maybe you do know this. But yeah, we watched this like not documentary. It was like a quick YouTube video about this elderly woman. So basically what had happened is her and her son, I think, pulled up. They were in the drive-thru. She got her coffee, set it down, and then they parked to like eat in the parking area, and something happened and it spilled onto her lap. And you guys, it was like 140 fucking degrees, 3rd degree. She started screaming. She was with like, again, her son or somebody, this man, because he was in the video, literally had to take her to the hospital because it like she was sitting there, so it spilled on her lap. And like they showed photos of her leg, like it was so bad. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so shitty. Like just in general, how much we hear something and don't know the actual facts. Like I vividly remember as a kid like thinking like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, you could sue anybody, which like, coffee's hot, ha ha, hee hee, which like who gives a shit? But no, this woman got like ridiculed, and she was like the butt of a joke. Like they showed clips of movies or like shows, like I think Friends, like there was a part where he put his coffee in his pants and then it spilled and he's like, like it's in a song, you know, Sue McDonald's, you win $1 million. I think it's Kanye West. Like literally people shitting on her, and like, no, it was so bad. It was like so not okay. Like it literally, she had all of this medical bills. And also, let me clarify, she only wanted like $10,000 or like $40,000 to just cover the medical. Like she just wanted to get money for like the medical bills that she had because of it. She didn't even go in, but the course awarded her like $2.9 million or something, and then it actually ended up only being like 800,000. But like that also was not her intention. Like she didn't go in there, like she literally just wanted to be like reimbursed for like the medical bills that it cost her. Isn't that actually fucking insane? Oh my gosh, I had no idea. Like, how am I learning about this years later? Because I don't remember when this happened. I think maybe early 90s. I don't even think we were born yet. Or if you're my age, hello, you might be a different age than me, obviously. But like me and Carter specifically, I think it might have been like 94. Oh, I put in my notes here, 2.9 million, but down to $500,000. And she didn't even want that in the first place. She just like wanted to be like rightfully, you know, hello, damages, sue for damages, medical bills. Anywho, you guys, I think that's all I have. That was fun. I always like have a bunch of notes and then I start taking tangents wherever they go. And I also haven't picked Monday's stories. I'm going to film that tomorrow because Carter's gone. So I'm not sure what they're going to be, but I'm going to find some juicy ones. I really want to find a bachelorette trip one because like those things, there's always fucking juice and like women acting crazy. So I really badly want to find with that. Hello. And yeah. Okay, I'm just blabbing. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening and being here. You're the best. Have the best weekend. Happy Friday. And I'll see you on Monday. Okay, bye guys.